Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. This video is about my practice in August. I like to do these types of videos every month. I think a little spoiler that on my channel I just really like to show how I use the decks and doing some spreads and how I felt about them personally. And I don't really know if it's very interesting for other people, but maybe if you resonate with kind of the personal spreads I do for myself, then maybe it is. But I'm not over here doing spreads for other people. I'm just showing how I use the cards for myself. So this is what we're going to do in this video for the month of August. And during this month, I've mainly used 4 different decks, kind of as pairings. So the first pair is the Stunning Tarot with the Portraits of a Woman Oracle, on which my previous video was about. So this is just to show you a few cards. Sometimes I've used the Stunning Tarot on its own, sometimes in combination with the Oracle. I think my practice have already evolved within the whole month, where I found a new way of using the cards, which I will explain later on in the video, and I've just really been enjoying it for the past week or so. Maybe 2 weeks actually already. Time is just flying by. But anyway, so that's the first pairing. And then the second pairing, since I'm living in Finland and that the weather has already actually started to be a little autumnal, like I was getting a little bit of autumnal vibes. I also really felt like I already wanted to start working with dragon energy. So I have been saving this combo for this period of the year, and I think it has now really shined through these past month. So I've been using the Smoke, Ash and Embers with the Divine Nature Oracle. So this is the second pairing I will be showing in the video. And so, without much further ado, let's just get into the different spreads I've used this month. Here is the reading of today. I really like it. With the Stunning Tarot, I end up getting always a lot of major arcanas. But the first card I pulled is actually number 13. And I really like how it's again following the rules of Tarot de Marseille, and you do not have a name for this card. This is the card normally that only has a number. It's not necessarily called death. And I decided, even though I pulled it first, to put it in the middle because it's the one I felt the most drawn to even when pulling each of those 3 cards. And also with this tarot, I find myself following a lot the logic of the numbers. And originally, it was kind of this setup. And then this is the above and below. And as you can see, I got 2, 3, 4. So I decided to put them in order. But still, I like to follow the structure that those are the cards of the reading and keeping the below. But so I decided to kind of have this little structure. And I think we can see a very nice story unfolding here. The High Priestess in this game, in this tarot, is very interesting because there's not that many cards, I would say, that have such a black background. So she's really seeking in the dark. It's really what it gives. And I found her clothing to not be so kind of pious woman that is not here for the fight, like she's giving me Joan of Arc vibe and kind of knight clothing. So anyway, I see her as this woman seeking the truth in the dark, and it makes sense then with judgment, kind of a connotation here that she's waiting to get everything revealed. And then when judgment comes, what is revealed is card number 13. So this unshedding of the old skin, but also this chaos that is happening, you know, and this need of maybe a clear up. And for that to happen, we need the energy of the Warrior of Swords. And I think color-wise, I don't know if this is the most visible, but the Warrior of Swords really follow the Judgment card as well, because we have this white ray that really lights up the very top of her head. And it's a kind of really similar blue, even though my phone is again. With this tarot, it's just not the best in terms of showing the proper colors. So the light blue following and then lighting up her head. So getting this new consciousness. And then kind of fighting for this new consciousness to be able to come into the real world, let's say. And then there is this Four of Swords. It's not the first time I'm getting this card in the past weeks. I think it's the second time, basically. But the last time as well, I had it with the Emperor, with the Four of Wands. So there were like 3 4s in my game, and I'm like, okay, I guess I just really need this emotional stability. And I like to consider the below card as always kind of the hidden goal or the inner goal that you want, like something you want but you are not necessarily admitting it to yourself. And you know, I think for me right now, this card, because I know the Four of Cups cannot necessarily, like, can have meanings that are not necessarily positive, but for me right now, I would very much like to be in this state, to feel this level of safety, to be in this luxurious bed and be able to have this very stable emotional state. So I think this is kind of what I'm fighting for right now, to be able to go through this transformation and then have my own little sanctum to rest and be able to move on to then the next phase. But right now I'm still really in this kind of situation. Yeah, because like the question, I forgot to say, the question I had for this spread was really, what should I focus on today? And I think the message is I should focus on still, you know, dealing with the chaos that has been revealed and still clearing it up. Like, I can't move on to the next phase just yet. All right, I am back with, I think, one of the most beautiful spreads I have ever done. I don't know, I just love what this looks like so much. And so of course I'm gonna tell you what the cards represent. But so as you can see, I have now started to incorporate another combo to my practice. Today is like the 16th of August, I believe, 16th or 17th. Oh my God, I'm so lost in the days. And after, you know, working with the Stunning Tarot daily for a little bit, I have slowly incorporated the Divine Nature Oracle and the Smoke, Ash and Embers Tarot. So those are the 2 decks I'm working with right now. I also have a nice little candle that smells like log fire to go with it. And I just find it so nice, this combo of things. Yeah, it smells amazing. But so let's get into this beautiful, beautiful spread. So below we have the 9 of Pentacles and Answer the Call. And I really love the synchronicities between those 2 cards of leaving what you know, or, you know, protecting the safety and security that you have gathered so far. And then in this card, a little bit more than this one, being a little bit like pushed, pulled towards the light and towards something that may be unknown, but is what you need right now. So there's really this idea of go towards the sun as kind of this, the theme behind this spread. And yeah, love it. And then at the very center of the spread, we have Kiss the Muse. And right before doing this spread, I was watching a video by Blue Moon and Baba Yaga, a French video, so I'm sorry for those of you that cannot watch it, where she's doing those like 3 choice readings where you choose a card and then she does a reading for you. And the card I chose, the reading was about duality between kind of a purity image that you really like to get a hold of. And then there also was kind of the old crone card associated with the death card that was also showing that you also had this immense power, a little bit more dark, a little bit like this kind of powerful, more wicked energy that maybe I was pulling away from. And honestly, this reading was very inspired by the one from Blue Moon and Baba Yaga. I really love what she does. But anyway, all of that to say that this card at the center is really this idea of embracing the duality between purity and maybe a little bit less purity. And also that there's just so much, desire that comes out in this card. So much also abandon, like release. No, like, what is the word in English? Because in French it's really like abandon, like just letting go of all this maybe tension and ways of being that you put on yourself for the sake of others. I don't know if that makes sense. But like, for example, this 2 of Wands, I really got like a proper message for this one that came to me, which is that my passions have overgrown the cage that I was keeping them in. So I really consider all the environment here, like all the passions that I have just kept inside because maybe they weren't what I feel like was fitting the image that I was portraying for the external world. And it has completely overgrown the space that I was giving it in the world. And so this with Kiss the Muse is really telling me that I need to let the fire that I have inside not be contained anymore and to embrace it. And then I was really wondering about this Justice card here. And especially, being it Kiss the Muse and being this duality between the two, and the common element in those is those like poisonous mushroom that in this one are really just everywhere and kind of almost, pushing on the dragon. And in here, she's completely dominating them. So maybe there's this idea of really dominating your passion. And there's this idea of dominance in general. And I think I always had issues with confidence. And so I've always been giving more this like submissive almost image to the world of letting people, never challenging people in their opinions, always being, very gentle and not wanting to show myself. So for this card, I was just like, okay, maybe I need to just fully embrace the parts of myself that are not about being this nice, good with everything, gentle persona that people expect of me, but instead to really be the queen that I am, and that it's okay sometimes to put myself in this kind of superiority position, that I don't have to always play nice, and I can sometimes be the dominant, and that's okay, and that's also part of me. And it's, yeah, I don't know, it was like really what I got from this card, because I think the things that I have overgrown is really the role I had in my relationship, which is now ending, and just like never putting myself first in a sense. And so now, kiss the muse, kiss the passion, and if we go into the last row, so what was above, it's really this card, encourage effortlessness, that is shining through, and associated with the High Priestess and intuition is really like your intuition. So what I'm feeling inside, what I keep caged in, is what I really want to do, and I should just do it because it's effortless, and keeping everything inside is effortful. So this is really a message to stop worrying so much about what people might think, or about offending people, about, this idea of being a people pleaser, where, you can be yourself, you can express the parts of you that you are scared people are not gonna like, and the people that are gonna stay are the people that should stay, and the one that do not, then they shouldn't. And like, let's stop worrying so much about pleasing other people, about what they think of you, about being loved. And instead, we should focus on loving, and not necessarily other humans, but loving ourselves and loving our passion and all parts of us. So yeah, I really love this spread. I've actually pulled the cards yesterday, and I just kept looking at them and looking at them. I love it so much. And I'm so happy of continuing to work with those two tarots. I also like this really, because before I would have not looked at the above and below of the oracle. It would have just been one oracle cards like this. But it really told me, because I was struggling a bit with oracles. I was even thinking, should I just really stop to work with oracles? Because I don't know. I need the freedom of tarot. But I think what I should actually do is implement more cards of the oracle, not just stay stuck on one message only, and one message which can be sometimes a little narrow to be the guide. I can pull more than one card and get a more thorough message. And also, it's actually nice to have one oracle card associated with one tarot card, and not always have one oracle with two, or one oracle with 4 cards, as I was showing earlier. So I'm gonna see what that looks like in my practice. So here is today's spread. I also absolutely love the aesthetic of it. So I really think that for the rest of this month, I'm going to continue doing this setup. And just let's go into the spread. So at the very core of the game, the very first card that we have pulled here is I am assertive. And then we have pulled with it the 2 of coins and the ace of coin. And right away there was this idea of having to choose between the two, and to have finally found the one. Then I right away also, before going into more details about what's at the core of the spread, I am now just looking right away at what's below. What's below is now really guiding for me in those 7-card spread, what this is about, what is this? Yeah, what is this whole spread about? And here, funnily enough, we've got number 12 really coming forward. And we've got the Hanged Man and I Am Tenacious. And the description of this card was this idea that tenacity is really what is left, even when you're procrastinating, even when you are distracted by other things, that it is always this idea inside your mind that stays put no matter what you're going through. And even based on the artwork, there's this idea that you're seated and your hands are doing their own thing, but your gaze is unwavering towards a certain objective. And the Hanged Man is the card that was very important to me at the moment where I took the decision to break up with my partner. So for me, having these 2 cards below is this idea that I now know where I'm going towards. Like, I have had this new enlightenment about what I wanted in my life. But right now, at this very moment, I'm still feeling a bit powerless. I'm not able to act upon right away on the decision I've made. I'm kind of, stuck. And so the idea is to, I guess, in this whole spread, how to get unstuck. And so then, going back to the main card, it's also what I've explained, going from the 2 of coins to the Ace of coins, being able to choose. I would also, at this point, would like to really put a notice that apart from the major arcana of the Hanged Man, all the minor arcana I have pulled out are from the Suit of Coins. So I guess right now the issue at hand is really in the practical world, in the material world. And also we can see a remaining theme of snakes. Here we've got snakes. Here we've got snakes. This card to me looks quite similar to this one, with this idea of being surrounded by some kind of chaos. And then I'm pretty sure that I Am Reflective is one of my favorite cards in the Portraits of a Woman. And reading the description of this card this time, it's really this idea of being able to define an objective, of being able to reflect on what it is that is the most important at this moment. And then basically I came to the conclusion, since I also was really seeing the connection between these 2 cards, that the way that was needed to read this card is that to be able to be assertive, one had to go through those 2 steps or through these cards. And so that basically the movement here is we are right now here in the 2 of coins balancing 2 things, and that we basically need to go through here, let all of the snakes surround us, not just trying to balance one, but have them all be here so that we are able to reflect on what is the most important and do the one thing that's most important. And it took me a while to see it, but at the end, looking at this card more, we can see this white snakes. And I promise you, at the beginning, I could not see the white snake. So it just, I guess, really show that I am not ready right now to make a decision, because there's really throughout this entire spread, this idea of not acting right now, even though the point is to reach assertiveness. So the ability to, take a claim over your action, to stand forth in front of diversity and the people that go against you, in a sense. But the idea here is really to just for now still let all the snakes come forward, let all the chaos come forth, so that then the one decision that really needs to be done right now is the one that you really want to make. And then we can see then this connection between being assertive and the Ace of Coins, of being able then to really spread forward this one decision that is the most important one right now. So this is what I've got today. I hope that despite it being about my personal situation, it can maybe help you reflect on your own situation. And I'll leave you with this one. Hello, here is today's spread. Still going strong on the 7-card pull with 3 oracle cards and 4 tarot cards. So for this one, the main message is radiate self-compassion, and it's actually the illustration that is on the box of the oracle. And usually I don't like when the oracles have one of the cards as, the design of the box, because it kind of ruins the card for me, I feel like. I don't know if you have a similar feeling, but I usually prefer, like for the Smoke, Ash and Embers tarot, for example, when the box is its own thing or is more related to the back of the cards, and so that each card has a similar feel, a similar energy to it, and one does not have kind of this more important role, let's say, in the entire deck. But yeah, so this card, Radiate Self-Compassion, I really like the message behind, and it was accompanied by the Ace of Pentacles and the King of Wands. And I really like this as well. Like the first hit I've got is that one of the previous spread I've done, it was really showing how materially, with a lot of pentacles, that things were a bit in disruption right now. And so this Ace of Pentacles is bringing a little bit of optimism. And also it's such a beautiful Ace of Pentacles with this turtle, which might be a sign that, things might be slow moving, but you are also getting there. The path is coming, and it is forming itself. There's like things that are happening, and this is a bit confirmed by what's below the deck as well, with the 3 of Pentacles. Also, just going back to the main spread here, we can see that the dragons that are surrounding the oracle cards have a similar kind of position of almost hugging themselves, And so I really like this idea to really complement the main card here. And then it's very rare for me to actually get, or I think I get maybe the King of Cups is the one I got the most, but it's very rare that I get a king in my spreads. I get a lot of page, a lot of queens, not that many kings. And, kings are really the symbol of mastery. And I also think that this month I've been getting a lot of wands on top of pentacles. And wands is a suit that I don't usually get that much. So now having this King of Wands associated with this radiation of self-compassion, and with also how I've been feeling lately, I really get it that I think I've mastered a bit my energy. I have managed to find my energy back. I have been also being more creative, finding back my own person, if that makes sense. And I think that's really the message here. If we go to what was below, so the big themes, we've got this really interesting Three of Pentacles associated with the spread, because the Three of Pentacles is obviously Pentacles, right? So kind of the material outside world and what you can do with it, and security and safety. And we can see those two dragons, so the idea of collaboration that is often associated with the Three of Pentacles, that are cultivating this fire, fire being really related to the suit of wands, so the King of Wands here. Also, we have this similarity of this fire here, and even in the main card, the radiation of self-compassion, we also have this creation of fire in the center of the flower. So I really think that the main idea here is to have self-compassion, and that allows you to cultivate the fire, but there is also the idea of collaboration associated, and of maybe seeking help, and that might also refer to the Ace of Pentacles. And so the Three of Pentacles here is associated with cultivate divine masculine. That is a little bit funny, because yesterday there is a spread I've done that I haven't recorded, where above, so in the cards on top of the deck, I had cultivate divine feminine. So both are appearing right now. So I'm wondering if kind of this collaboration is not necessarily a collaboration that needs to happen in the external world with other humans, but more inside, and that I need to ask the help of my inner divine masculine, and the idea of bringing powerful action to this work of self-compassion and of cultivating fire. And then I really feel like, the spread needs to also be seen in its entirety, that all of these are elements of bringing self-compassion to the table and being able to use it to move forward and achieve what you need to achieve. And above, we have more this idea of wisdom, of truth, of maybe the more dark side of this spread, I would say, because the text in the Speak True card is the idea that you need to not be afraid to speak your own truth, to say how things are for you, even if they might cut the other person, and even if saying it to another person might cut you. There's really this idea of the double-edged sword, and that speaking your truth may be hurtful for you or others, but that's where it's important, and that's probably the purpose of self-compassion, is to help you achieve this step. And probably that doing that work will allow you also to get back in touch with your inner guide, with your inner wisdom, which I really associate with the Hierophant. So this is the spread for today. I was not planning on recording it, but I really wanted to have a recording of the messages and the look of this spread, because I also find it beautiful. Maybe less in terms of the coherence of the artwork together, even though I explained the main synchronicities I can find, but aesthetically speaking, there have been some that I've been showing until now that I think are more beautiful, but individually, each card just give me so much joy. And yeah, those two decks are really, really nice. Okay, so here is the final spread, I believe, that I will be showing for this month. Today is the 25th, and I might not have the time to film another of my spreads, as I will be moving next weekend, so at the very end of the month. And this spread is actually kind of about that. I have realized really today that it was getting closer, that I was going to get the keys of my new place, and that I was finally going to move on to this step of my life, which I have now been planning for this entire month of August. You know, I've been just staying the month now, cohabitating with my partner, and or with my ex, I should say. Anyway, and so by 1st of September, I should be in the new flat, and it is a big change. It's really difficult for me to imagine all this time of preparation, even what led to the breakup, to now living on my own again after so long. So I was really wanting to make a spread about this. So let's just jump right in. So for the below cards, we've got the Answer the Call card, which I have already pulled one time before, and the Moon card. And funnily enough, when thinking about the cards I wanted to pull, like thinking about this new mindset I was now getting into, of having to really realize what was happening, to really step into reality instead of planning and everything that has been happening more on a mental level so far. This was the card I kept thinking about. This was the card that I felt represented the most or the best how I was feeling, or how I feel like I should keep in mind. So I was happy or not surprised that it showed up in this spread. Like, it kind of made me smile. And it is interesting that it is associated with the moon here, because I was more associating this light and this energy in the previous spread in which this card came up with the sun, and now it's associated with the moon. And this is such a good moon card, and the first hit I've got looking at it was this idea of having to let go of the illusion that I've been clinging to, of safety right now, still living in the same flat, really struggling to imagine another way of living. So I need to let go of it, let go of the illusion that I am living currently. So this was the first hit. And then I actually used both the guidebook of this oracle, reread the entry for it, and also had looked at the little keywords that came up with the deck. And for the moon card, the very first keyword is the subconscious. And I looked at those after reading the entire spread. And it turns out that within this entire spread, the idea of the subconscious is pretty strong. So it seems like it's something that, despite what I would think would be a very active week, like the coming week with the move and all of that, being very much in the conscious world, this spread is kind of guiding me more towards dealing with the subconscious in this whole shift that is happening right now. And so if we get into kind of the main message that I'm getting, very fitting is this card called Honor the Ending, which, associated with the Three of Swords, makes sense when I read the entry, because it's really part of the Honor the Ending is about allowing the sadness to come, which is, I think, something I've been waiting for it to hit me. Like, I've been so focused on the logistics of the situation, on the practicalities, on what it meant in terms of security and so on, that I still have not fully dealt with my feelings, I think. And when I pulled this Three of Swords, like when pulling it, I felt almost this warmth around this card. So even before pulling, like making it visible to me, I knew that I thought this card was going to be important. And I just think that despite not right now feeling particularly sad, this is something I should be, that might happen, that I should be ready to feel, and that I should be ready for, to actually finally get this sadness and this despair that shows up currently. I also want to point out here that out of the 7 cards I've pulled, we've got the Moon card, where the dragon has his eyes closed and is sleeping. In this card, we again have the dragon with his eyes closed, and it's also in Honor the Ending. So there's really this idea of looking inside. It would have been even more fitting, for example, if the Hermit had shown up. But this is already a pretty strong message here. But the second part of the message of Honor the Ending is also to still, despite allowing sadness to fill your heart, of mourning the ending of what has come to an end, to also still give some space to the new beginning, with the idea, with here the Ankh cross, that an ending always comes with a new beginning, and so there's this also, I guess, this idea of still being able to see through the sadness what good may come forth with the ending. And I guess this is the main idea behind this 6 of Wands, of knowing that this entire work, just like the light at the end of the tunnel here, is going to bring the energy to its highest level after the period of internal work. And here above, that's where I've got back to the below cards as well, and got back to what the Moon can also represent, and where subconscious was actually the first keyword that the artists of this deck were giving. And the Submerge card is all about the subconscious as well, about this idea that you need to look at traumas, at the inside, to understand how you feel on the outside. And that's where I again realized, okay, this spread is, despite me kind of wanting more a message about the move, about how it felt, the stress of it, the excitement of it almost, this spread was all about just make sure to preserve your inside, of being there for yourself internally, of being aware of what's happening outside of the conscious level. And I think the Justice card here makes me think of actually this idea of not taking things surface level, because we really have Submerge, and here she's at the surface. And so it might be that she might not be a really positive card here, but instead this idea of not seeing everything. I think there's also this idea of surrender associated here. And also in Honor the Ending, we do have an idea of peace. So I guess that's maybe, I will end with that. The main thing is happening. I haven't felt peace at all for this entire month. I've always been on very high alert for feelings that I should be feeling, or things that needed to be done, or feelings that were anything but peaceful. And so I guess the idea behind this spread is, from one side, letting go of the illusion, being able to get to the unknown, as well of submerging also into the subconscious, into all of those things that maybe I have fantasized about, but that I've never made real before. And in addition to that, sadness that might show up. And finally, kind of keeping my eyes on the ball in terms of managing to having a sense of peace associated with what is happening, understanding that big picture level, it is okay. What's happening is okay. It's part of life, and that it will only bring back feelings and things that I want. So this is it for this spread. Without further ado, I will just let you go on with your day. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you very soon.